Hey Browns fans! Coming with the latest Cleveland Browns news just for you. But before we get into today's news, hit that like button so you don't miss any of the latest updates. We're diving deep into a critical topic today. Head coach Kevin Stefanski's future with the team is on the line. If you want to stay in the loop, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you don't want to miss what's next for the Browns. Now, let's talk about what's really going on. At 1-4, the Cleveland Browns are off to a brutal start this season. It's hard to believe, but right now, we're looking more like one of the worst teams in the NFL than the playoff contender we all expected. The offense isn't clicking, the defense isn't delivering, and fans are starting to ask some tough questions. And you know what? Those questions are pointing directly at Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski, as you know, came in with a lot of promise, but with the way this season has gone so far, his reputation is on the line. Just listen to what Dustin Fox had to say recently on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. He didn't hold back when he said his reputation as a coach is on the line, the locker room is on the line. He's talking about how Stefanski will handle the Deshaun Watson situation going forward, and trust me, Browns fans, this is a big moment for our head coach. Through the first 5 games, Deshaun Watson hasn't looked great. In fact, the entire team has struggled. But here's the thing, Watson isn't the only problem. The offensive line has been shaky, the defense hasn't lived up to expectations, and week after week, it's looked like the Browns aren't ready. So is Stefanski to blame for this? Well, some analysts think so. Fox went on to say that if things don't improve soon, Stefanski may be forced to make a big decision or risk losing his job. Now, some of you might be wondering if it's time to bench Watson. After all, we have Jameis Winston waiting in the wings, and giving him a chance could shake things up. But would that really solve the problem? Or are there deeper issues we need to address in the offseason, like rethinking our quarterback situation entirely for 2025? 92.3 The Fan radio host Nick Wilson made some valid points recently when he said Stefanski is part of the problem. He said, "Yeah, I think he's part of the problem. Benching Deshaun maybe gets you 30% of the way there." He's right. While Watson isn't playing at the level we've all been expecting, it's not just about him. The defense hasn't been outstanding either, and that has many fans wondering about Stefanski's overall leadership. Wilson even questioned what Stefanski is doing, saying, "Deshaun played really bad on Sunday." No disagreement. But where's the blame for the defense? Where's the blame for the overall leadership? This isn't just a one-person problem. Stefanski himself knows the team's problems go beyond the quarterback. He's been vocal about taking responsibility, but words can only go so far. Fans want to see results, and if they don't come soon, Stefanski could be in serious trouble. Now, let's talk about the next few weeks. This is a critical stretch for the Browns. We're taking on the Philadelphia Eagles on the road in Week 6, and this won't be an easy game. The Eagles are playing great football right now, and we have to find a way to right the ship. If we can't get a win, Stefanski's future with the Browns could be in real jeopardy. There's already been speculation about Stefanski's job security, especially with the recent surprise firing of Jets head coach Robert Saleh. Could Stefanski be next? That depends on what happens in the next few weeks. If we continue to see the same lack of preparation and execution, changes could be coming sooner rather than later. All right, Browns fans, it's your turn. What do you think? Is Stefanski to blame for the Browns' struggles this season? Should we stick with Watson, or is it time for a change? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Nick Wright just had a pretty bold take on his show What's Right? With Nick Wright, and it's about our very own Deshaun Watson. We all know this season hasn't exactly gone as planned. The Browns have a rocky track record, and let's be honest, Watson hasn't been the player we expected when we brought him in. Remember, we gave up a lot to get him, draft picks and a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. Now, 2 years later, we're wondering if there's any way out of this mess. According to Wright, the Browns' only escape hatch may be to trade Watson, along with our 2025 first-round pick, to a team with plenty of cap space. It's a crazy idea, but is it really that crazy? He's suggesting that if the Browns want to rebuild or make a serious change, moving on from Watson could be the first step. The question is, who's willing to take on that massive contract? It's tough because, on paper, we have a solid roster. We have five-time Pro Bowler Amari Cooper, Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett, and even Nick Chubb, who is unfortunately still recovering from that brutal knee injury. But without Chubb and with Watson not playing at his former Pro Bowl level, the Browns just aren't hitting their stride. It's been frustrating, to say the least, and it feels like this season is slipping away. Some might say that Watson's off-field issues have brought bad karma to the team, and believe it or not, the on-field results haven't been pretty. So what do you think, Browns fans? Should the team really consider moving on from Watson and trying to rebuild, or should we just move on and hope things get better? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. So here's a rumor that's sure to shake things up. The Browns may be listening to trade offers for our star wide receiver, Amari Cooper. Yep, you heard that right. And guess what? One team that's been named as a potential trade suitor is none other than our bitter rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Can you imagine that? It's almost unthinkable, right? Corey Woodruff for the Win recently wrote an article listing some potential trade candidates around the league, and Cooper's name came up. With our 1-4 start, it seems like the Browns could be open to some big moves ahead of the NFL trade deadline on November 5th. But trading Cooper to Pittsburgh? That's a tough pill to swallow for any Browns fan. Let's be real, the Steelers could use a solid wide receiver, especially with all the drama surrounding George Pickens there. But would the Browns actually make a deal with them? It almost seems impossible to believe. Sending one of our top players to the Steelers would be a gut punch for fans, especially with the way this season has gone. Now, it's worth noting that the Browns would listen to any offer, and they'd be foolish not to. But for Cleveland to send Cooper to Pittsburgh, the trade offer would have to be absolutely insane, something we simply couldn't say no to. Cooper has been decent this season, making 20 catches for 208 yards and a couple of touchdowns in 5 games. But he's also leading the league with 8 drops, which is definitely a concern. And considering he's in the final year of his deal, Cleveland hasn't shown much interest in extending him long-term. So, Browns fans, what do you think? Should we consider trading Cooper to our biggest rivals, or is that just crossing the line? Could this actually help us rebuild, or would it be a huge mistake? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. And before you go, make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the latest news. Go Browns!